I don't want nobody to segregate me, but if we were to pick up and move to Ghana, how much better would our life be?
Willie D. Live.
I think that's why we go so hard, huh? Because we want it to be great. We want to have at least we want to be able to be great.
I'm going to tell you when it was great to me, when we were segregated. That's when it was great. Because when integration to me, and I know everybody's not going to agree with this, once again, I don't care, but when we were segregated, when black people were not allowed to fuck with white folks, and white folks didn't want to fuck with us, which they still don't, we thrived. We built our own. We built Tulsa. We built Oscarville. We built Seneca Village. And we had our own airports, had our own gynecologists, had our own doctors, had our own photographic studios. And as always, you know, when you couldn't keep the white girls from running across the track trying to get to the brothers, and the brothers found out they could run back across the track to the white girls. And then, as Paul Mooney used to say, I think some of them thought they had the complexion for the protection, but they did not. And in many cases, it was the testimony of a white girl that got the whole city burnt down. So I feel a certain type of way. I know it's not a popular way of thinking. We should all be together, but why you want to fuck with somebody who don't want to fuck with you? Right. Why do we want to do that? I don't care. If they segregate us, well, if we not segregate, I don't want nobody to segregate me, but if we were to pick up and move to Ghana, how much better would our life be? If we were over there in black communities that were thriving and protecting our legacies and protecting our elders, and so we've been so brainwashed over here, you know? We don't even have a language. We don't even have a Jesus. How many black people have white Jesus up in their house? You know?
You know, I had an experience with my uncle. He was like, at that time, about maybe 72. I walked in his house, and I saw this picture of white Jesus, and I knew it was going to piss him off, so I started acting like I was going to take it off the wall. I was like, what is this doing up here, man? And I went to try to take it. You better not touch that picture, boy. And this is a upstanding black man, a proud black man who didn't take nothing off of nobody.
A proud, brainwashed black man.
He was a dude that was, he was brainwashed at least at the minimum to that fact that picture of that white Jesus was, you know, it meant something to him, you know.
That's wild, because if you read the Bible, it clearly is in contradiction to that picture.
Right.
So what are we doing, Unc?
Be careful now. My Unc died.
Well, then he know what I'm saying anyway, don't he?
You know, he actually would have loved you. He would have loved you because he loved my music, and it wasn't too many old 72-year-old dudes riding down the street bumping bald head hoes. So
I'm very popular amongst the uncles.
How did you find comedy though? Like when at what point in your life did you say, I think I got it? Did somebody encourage you? Did you hear it from other people, or was there something, a voice in your head said, I think I can do comedy, I'm finna go out and try it?
I really never even thought about doing comedy. It was never on my to-do list. I wanted to be an actress. I spent a lot of time watching television and fantasizing about movies and stuff like that. And then I used to sing a lot when I was in a choir in church, and sang after that in musical plays and things like that, theater. But comedy wasn't on my radar. But I think I have a funny family. Like, my family is funny. My siblings are funny. They're not funny all the time. They're not funny to other people, maybe, but amongst us, we're pretty funny. And maybe I inherited that from my father, who I have heard was very funny. I didn't know him. He got murdered before I was born, so I didn't know him, but maybe that's a trait that I got genetically. I had people I think found me amusing in the way that I said things, I guess. And then I had a roommate who was dating a comedian, and he would be at the house all the time. And I'd just be talking my regular trash. And he'd say, you really funny. You ought to come down to my comedy club. This was when I was living in Long Beach. And I was like, come down to your comedy club and do what? And he says, if you come down there, I'm going to put you on stage the minute you walk in. I was like, yeah, okay, whatever. And I didn't think about it anymore because I don't tell jokes. I'm not a joke teller. You saw the show last night. I tell more like stories and ideas and thoughts and stuff. And so, I guess in the back of my head, I was thinking about what he said. And just one night, me and my girlfriends were sitting on the balcony in Long Beach, one of them hot Long Beach nights, and pitcher full of margaritas and whatever. And I had thought of a story that I thought was really funny that happened to me, because most of the stuff that I talk about has happened to me. And so I said, let's go down to this club and see what this guy talking about. I don't know. So we went down there, and he's right. He was right the minute that he saw me. He said, okay, you're going to be next. You're going to be next. I'm like, okay. I didn't really have stage fright because I'd been doing theater, and it was a small club, and I wasn't worried about it. I've always been pretty confident in that way. And so he put me up. I went up on stage, and I told this little story that had happened to me, and the people loved it, and I got great response. Then when I stepped off stage, this man came up to me, and he's like, you funny little bitch. I was like, all right, thank you. And he said, you need to come to my club. And I'm like, what's your club? And he gave me a card. And that was the late, great Robin Harris. So I met Robin Harris on the first day, the first time I ever did comedy. I went to his club in L.A., and this is back before Comic View or Def Jam or anything. You had young D.L. Hughley, you had young Jamie Foxx, you had young Little Earthquake, and everybody was sort of like a boom that was coming through. Then D.L. got to be the host of Comic View, and Comic View started, and then we had an opportunity to get on TV, and it just snowballed.